Hey everyone, welcome. On this channel, we're going to get into an advanced look at the story Disastrous Necromancer. Come with me as we unravel the journey of Lin Moyu, from his beginnings to him becoming a force to be reckoned with in a mysterious new world. If this story sounds like something you'll enjoy, please like, share, and comment. Your support helps us keep providing these in-depth looks into the world of Disastrous Necromancer. Now let's continue.
At this moment, the expressions of the four domain lords were varied and colorful. The one with the worst expression was Yi Qingshan. His mouth twitched involuntarily, wanting to get angry but having nowhere to vent. Lin Moyu's actions had essentially sealed the fate of the three contestants from the Azure Dragon Star domain. They had no chance of entering the second level. Bai Binger coughed lightly. Actually, I think Lin Moyu is a decent person. If we negotiate properly, it's not impossible for him to give away 2 tokens. Seeing Yi Qingshan's grim face, Bai Binger changed her tone, but it's not a big deal now. At least Qing Fei succeeded. My White Tiger Star domain also only has 1 contestant. Everyone is about the same. Wu Da echoed Bai Binger's words. Exactly, having Qing Fei alone is enough. More people wouldn't make much difference. Hearing this, Yi Qingshan's expression improved slightly. At least Qing Fei was still in the game, and Qing Fei was strong enough to represent the strength of 3 contestants. Thinking this way made things seem a lot better. Zhu Tian added, having more people doesn't help. The result would be the same if they encountered Lin Moyu. Yi Qingshan's face turned grim again. Zhu Laosan, if you can't speak properly, just shut up. Zhu Tian was in a great mood and didn't argue with Yi Qingshan. He felt truly vindicated now. With Lin Moyu in the competition, the 4-star domains tournament was in the bag. Bai Binger suddenly frowned. What is that guy doing? Wu Da also noticed something unusual. They saw a cultivator from the White Tiger Star domain following Lin Moyu's group. He used a special artifact to hide his presence, and Lin Moyu and the others hadn't noticed him. In just over a day since the competition started, Lin Moyu had already explored most of the 3rd level. At least 4 of the 7 tokens he held, he knew the exact locations of the corresponding stone tablets. He brought Zhuang Bai and Chu Shang to the nearest stone tablet. By this time, Zhuang Bai's injuries were fully healed, and Chu Shang's injuries were mostly healed. Lin Moyu handed a corresponding token to Zhuang Bai. Senior brother Zhuang, see you in the 2nd level. Zhuang Bai nodded, see you in the 2nd level. Zhuang Bai activated the token and was transported to the 2nd level. Lin Moyu immediately took Chu Shang to another stone tablet. Earlier, he had learned that Zhuang Bai and Chu Shang had a Divine King level artifact that allowed them to communicate. Once they entered the 2nd level, they could quickly reunite. Acting together would be much safer. Being ambushed once was enough, it wouldn't happen a second time. By the time they reached the 2nd stone tablet, Chu Shang's injuries were also fully healed. As Chu Shang was being transported to the 2nd level, Lin Moyu suddenly said to the side, Senior brother, you've been following us for a while. Why not come out and speak directly? A few seconds later, 1,000 meters away, the space seemed to be pulled open like a curtain. A person appeared. Hello, junior brother Lin. My name is Hu Tian, number 18. Lin Moyu, who had memorized the resources of each contestant, naturally knew Hu Tian. Hu Tian was from the White Tiger Star domain and was also a minor god king with considerable combat power. In the top 16 competition, he had defeated contestants with lower numbers to make it into the top 16. In fact, he had been there all along, following them without showing any malice. Even now, he was very polite and courteous. Lin Moyu asked, Senior brother Hu, if you have something to say, just say it. Hu Tian scratched his head, looking a bit embarrassed. Junior brother Lin, I'm thick-skinned enough to ask if you would sell me a token. He was tall and burly, somewhat resembling Chu Shang, and seemed quite honest. He used the word buy, implying he was willing to pay a price. Lin Moyu smiled. What price is senior brother Hu willing to offer? Seeing that Lin Moyu didn't refuse outright, Hu Tian knew there was a chance. I have a Divine King level defensive artifact. Although it's only mid-tier, it's quite effective. Lin Moyu shook his head. I don't need artifacts. Lin Moyu's standards were high. Divine King level artifacts didn't interest him. At the very least, he needed Divine Sovereign level artifacts. Seeing that Lin Moyu didn't want artifacts, Hu Tian looked disappointed. To him, the most valuable thing he had was this Divine King level artifact. If it weren't for the competition, he would be reluctant to part with it. Just as he was feeling disappointed, Lin Moyu said, Senior brother Hu, you should be quite knowledgeable about the power of faith, right? Hu Tian nodded instinctively. I have some research on it. Lin Moyu said, in that case, I want a detailed document on the power of faith. including your understanding and insights. The more detailed, the better. Just that? Hu Tian couldn't believe it. Lin Moyu smiled and confirmed, just that. Hu Tian seemed even more embarrassed. Junior brother Lin, you're getting the short end of the stick. The information you want can be easily found in the White Tiger Star domain. I know, but I want it now, Lin Moyu said with a smile. Alright, I'm getting a great deal. Hu Tian took out a jade tablet and used his soul power to inscribe all his understanding of the power of faith into it. He also took out 2 more jade tablets, making a total of 3, and handed them to Lin Moyu. One contains my personal insights, and the other 2 contain information on the power of faith at the Divine King level. Lin Moyu didn't doubt him. He accepted the jade tablets without checking them on the spot and handed a token to Hu Tian, pointing in a direction. In that direction, 2 million kilometers away, there's a stone tablet. Hu Tian took the token and thanked Lin Moyu excitedly. Thank you, junior brother Lin. With the token, he could enter the second level and avoid being eliminated here. Lin Moyu waved his hand. It's a fair trade, no need to thank me. Hu Tian said, I understand. I owe you one, junior brother Lin. If you ever visit the White Tiger Star domain, come find me. I live in the Tiger family of the second star system. Hu Tian left with gratitude, and Lin Moyu also flew towards another stone tablet. The 3 Azure Dragon Star domain contestants, who were being chased by the skeleton generals, suddenly received a prompt. Contestant number 1 has entered the second level, asterisk. Immediately, the skeleton generals disappeared. Finally, they're gone. I thought I was going to die here. How can Lin Moyu be so terrifying? Is he really only at the 4th stage of the Divine King level? We're all minor god kings, yet we were chased to this extent. The 3 sighed in relief. Fortunately, Lin Moyu had left. Contestant number 19 laughed bitterly. Are we the only 3 to be eliminated? No, there's also a guy from the White Tiger Star domain, number 18. He didn't get a token either. At this moment, the Human Emperor Network's prompt sounded again. Contestant number 18 has entered the second level, asterisk. The 3 were stunned, looking at each other in disbelief. Then their surroundings changed, and they found themselves back in the competition city. For them, the competition was over. Although they made it to the top 16, they were the last 3 among the top 16. The issue wasn't just their ranking but the embarrassment. They knew that their chase by Lin Moyu had been witnessed by the entire human race. Their reputation was ruined, and they wouldn't dare show their faces for decades when they returned to the White Tiger Star domain. They also had to face Domain Lord Yi Qingshan, who would undoubtedly reprimand them. The 3, with their heads hung low, retreated to their quarters to heal their injuries. As Hu Tian entered the second level, the arena of the third level disintegrated with a loud rumble. It transformed into layers of high walls, enclosing the last 2 levels. At the same time, everyone noticed that the competition's live feed had disappeared. No one could see the ongoing competition. For a moment, everyone was puzzled, not knowing what had happened. For a moment, the entire human race star domain was full of questions, wanting to know what had happened. Lin Moyu wondered why the competition projection had suddenly disappeared. Soon, the Human Emperor Network provided an answer to everyone. Due to the involvement of human race secrets in the upcoming battles, the projection will be temporarily closed, asterisk. The projection will resume once the next stage of the competition begins, asterisk. No one expected such a turn of events. However, the human race is very united and tolerant. No one doubted the explanation given by the Human Emperor Network. Almost everyone stood by the Human Emperor Network, supporting its decision. Indeed, with so many guests from other races, some secrets cannot be revealed to them, someone commented. Not just that, there are many spies within the human race itself. Some secrets cannot be disclosed, another added. I support the Human Emperor Network's decision. Anyway, we can see it again in the next stage. No rush, someone else said. I can only silently wish all the contestants the best, hoping they perform at their best, another person added. On the competition field, the 4 domain lords were still there. They could still see the entire competition process, which was their privilege. Apart from them, other observing gods could not see the specific situation of the competition at this moment. The voice of the Shu family ancestor, majestic and deep, rang out, You 4, keep your mouths shut. The 4 domain lords felt a chill in their hearts, knowing that the upcoming competition might indeed involve human race secrets, not just empty words. Although they were domain lords, the real secrets of the human race were not in the 4-star domains but in the divine city. Some things were unknown even to them. The 4 opened their eyes, intending to see what secrets were involved. Yi Qingshan's previous frustration disappeared, replaced by curiosity. After Hu Tian finally entered the second layer, the 13 people in the second layer simultaneously received a message from the Human Emperor Network. Attention all contestants, asterisk. The projection has been paused. Anything you do next will not be known to anyone, asterisk. You can fully unleash your strength without worrying about your information being leaked, asterisk. Below are the new rules for the second layer. Please listen carefully, asterisk. A powerful enemy leader will appear in the center of the second layer, asterisk. The one who kills the enemy leader can directly enter the first layer and obtain a very powerful magical treasure, asterisk. This powerful magical treasure can play a significant role in the next stage of the competition, asterisk. There is only one enemy leader, and it is very powerful. Please be cautious, asterisk. In the second layer, if you die or lose the ability to continue fighting for any reason, you will be directly eliminated, asterisk. Everyone listened to the new rules, feeling a chill in their hearts. There was now another way to advance to the next layer. Not only could they advance to the next layer, but they could also obtain a powerful magical treasure. This rule became very attractive, making defeating the enemy leader in the center a priority for many. The rules stated that the enemy leader would appear in the center of the second layer, but where exactly was the center? They were in the second layer and couldn't determine the exact direction. Almost no one knew whether they were near the edge or the center. Obviously, the first person to reach the center would have an advantage. Dongfang Zi looked around, unable to discern the direction, and cursed, "What a lousy rule. This rule favors Lin Moyu again." Wei Bowen also thought to himself, "Why do I feel that the Human Emperor Network is biased towards Lin Moyu?" However, he could only think this and didn't dare to say it out loud. Cheng Fei took out a bird-shaped jade magical treasure. With a thought, she commanded, "Go." The jade magical treasure shattered, turning into thousands of bird shadows flying in all directions. Shui Xilin touched the red little spirit on her shoulder. "Little Red, help me find the center, okay?" Little Red chirped twice, then flew into the air and disappeared in a flash, its speed comparable to a god. Zhuang Bai and Chu Shang were lucky this time, quickly meeting up as they were close to each other. Zhuang Bai took out a jade eye magical treasure, placed it on his forehead, and scanned the area, determining the direction. Chu Shang asked, "Old Zhuang, are we going to kill the enemy leader?" Zhuang Bai shook his head, "No, we'll just find the stone tablets and tokens." He knew his strength. Although not weak, compared to Dongfang Zi and Cheng Fei, he was still lacking. Competing to kill the enemy leader was not their forte. Instead, while others were looking for the enemy leader, they could find the tokens and stone tablets to enter the first layer as soon as possible. Lin Moyu had already sent out skeleton warriors to scout, and the initial feedback indicated that the number and density of simulated enemies here far exceeded those in the third layer. Moreover, their combat power had also increased, with the strength of the simulated enemies reaching the 8th stage of the God King level. Another difference was that they had built small cities and formed armies. Lin Moyu even felt that they would use battle formations. Ordinary skeleton warriors were already difficult to deal with, so Lin Moyu had to send out a large number of skeleton generals for the attack. The Human Emperor Network had explained that the projection had ended, and anything they did here would not be seen by the outside world. With this assurance, Lin Moyu had no scruples. Thousands of skeleton generals were dispatched, sweeping through and destroying everything in their path, killing and demolishing cities. Tokens, stone tablets, enemy leaders. Lin Moyu planned to take them all. This layer would see more eliminations. The rules state that the one who kills the enemy leader can directly enter the next layer and obtain a powerful magical treasure. But how is it determined who kills the enemy leader? What level is the enemy leader? Is it at the peak of the minor god level or a true god? Lin Moyu pondered the rules. If 5 people attacked the enemy leader together, who would get the credit? Would it be the first person to attack, the last person to land the killing blow, or the one who dealt the most damage? The rules didn't specify, so all possibilities existed. To be safe, Lin Moyu thought of a foolproof method, not letting anyone else touch the enemy leader. He would handle it alone, eliminating any ambiguity. Additionally, the right to enter the next layer, whether it took effect immediately or could be controlled, made a big difference. He wanted to eliminate a few more people in this layer. To do that, he needed to get more tokens. He also thought of Zhuang Bai and Chu Shang. If he left, they might be in trouble. After some thought, Lin Moyu decided to pursue both goals. He would fight for the tokens and the enemy leader. As for Zhuang Bai and Chu Shang, it would depend on their luck. He would help if he could, but if not, there was nothing he could do. After all, this was just a competition, not a life and death battle. A small city was captured by the skeleton generals, and all the enemies inside were killed. However, there was no stone tablet inside. This was another change. Unlike the third layer, where the presence of a stone tablet could be seen from outside the tribe, now they had to capture the city to determine if a stone tablet was present. Moreover, the density of cities had greatly increased, making it much harder to find the stone tablets. The third layer took just over a day, but the second layer, though smaller in scope, would take much longer, at least 3 to 4 days. Shui Xilin was fighting alongside 3 minor god-level puppets, having just breached a city. Lin Moyu's minor god-level skeleton generals had already charged in, unstoppable. At this moment, a red line appeared in the sky, and Little Red returned to Shui Xilin's shoulder, chirping a few times. Shui Xilin's face turned grim, he has so many minor god-level summons. Little Red had found the central location and also discovered Lin Moyu's summons. Tens of thousands of minor god-level skeleton generals, incredibly terrifying. Shui Xilin felt a sense of despair amidst her shock. How could she fight such an opponent? Looking at her own puppets, she had only 3 minor god-level ones. There was no comparison. Ching Fei was in a similar situation. The birds released by her magical treasure acted as her eyes. Then she saw Lin Moyu's army of skeleton generals. Watching the skeleton generals effortlessly breach the city, Ching Fei was stunned. She had the same thought as Shui Xilin. This was impossible to fight. Suddenly, she somewhat understood why the Human Emperor Network had stopped the broadcast. Was it to protect Lin Moyu? It wasn't impossible. Ching Fei thought for a moment and decided not to compete for the central enemy leader. She would focus on finding tokens and stone tablets, aiming for second place. She didn't expect to get first place anyway. After breaching 3 cities in a row, Lin Moyu finally saw the first stone tablet. The stone tablet appeared only after all the enemies in the city were completely killed, confirming his suspicion that finding stone tablets and tokens here was significantly more difficult. The time required would also increase exponentially. The first stage had a total of 10 days, and they had to reach the first layer and complete the first token and stone tablet task within those 10 days. This meant that they couldn't waste too much time in the second layer. Even if they wanted to kill the central enemy leader, they had to find the stone tablets and tokens first to leave themselves a way out. But these rules were most advantageous to Lin Moyu. Because he had enough undead troops, he could pursue both goals without any impact. Looking at the 9 characters engraved on the stone tablet, the number was 9, corresponding to the token number 9. In the end, it's all about strength. As long as you're strong enough, even the rules will favor you. Or rather, the rules made by the strong always favor the strong. Lin Moyu patted the stone tablet and turned to leave. As usual, he left 10 skeleton generals to guard and mark the location. The skeleton generals discovered a giant beast 1,000,000 kilometers away from the stone tablet. A large number of skeleton generals swarmed over, and the battle quickly ended. Lin Moyu arrived late to collect the spoils. It was a token numbered 6. Most of the rules in the second layer hadn't changed, only slightly adjusted. The monsters simulated by the array were stronger, and the giant beasts were still real, not simulated by the array. Compared to the third layer, the combat power of the giant beasts in the second layer had increased but was still within the minor god level. Lin Moyu felt that the combat power of the giant beasts in the second layer was comparable to Zhuang Bai and Chu Shong but not as strong as Qing Fei and Dongfang Zi. Based on this estimate, the combat power of the giant beasts in the first layer should reach the peak of the minor god level, comparable to Qing Fei and others. The simulated enemies in the first layer might reach the 9th stage of the God King level. Finally, the skeletons found the central point. The central point had a huge city, larger than any other city. Just seeing the city, one could immediately determine it was the central point. In the center of the city, there was a tall tower. At the top of the tower, an abyssal dragon demon was coiled. Enemy leader, abyssal dragon demon. An old friend. Among the demon race, Lin Moyu was most familiar with the abyssal dragon demon. One had to admit, the abyssal dragon demon, as a royal among the demon race, indeed had an extraordinary aura. Just coiling there was enough to make one's heart tremble. When Lin Moyu thought that the abyssal dragon demon, like the giant beasts, was real, he suddenly realized that the abyssal dragon demon was not real. The abyssal dragon demon had no soul. When he discovered that the abyssal dragon demon had no soul, Lin Moyu couldn't believe it and looked again. After repeatedly confirming that the abyssal dragon demon had no soul, Lin Moyu was stunned. He suddenly understood why the Human Emperor Network had stopped the broadcast. The scene before him indeed couldn't be shown to outsiders. Not only to other races but even to his own people, it wasn't suitable to show. Some might not see anything, but there were always smart people in the world. Because the abyssal dragon demon before him was a god. The 4 domain lords were stunned, their eyes filled with shock. Wu Da murmured, "No way, the simulated spirit array has reached this level, it can even create gods." Zhu Tian whispered, "Indeed, this can't be known to outsiders, it would trigger a racial war." Yi Qingshan's voice was excited, "If we can mass-produce gods, our human race will stand above all races." Bai Binger's beautiful eyes were filled with disbelief. How did they do it, without any prior information? I seem to feel the power of faith in the array. The voice of the Shu family ancestor was majestic and deep. What you see must not be disclosed. Understood, the 4 said in unison, knowing the gravity of the situation. If other races knew that the human race's simulated spirit array had reached this level, it would definitely trigger a war among all races. Although the human race was not afraid, it was not yet the right time. The Shu family ancestor said, "Actually, the simulated spirit array is not yet fully successful. This time, it's also an experiment using these young ones." The 4 nodded lightly. If it could be experimented with, it meant it was more than halfway successful. With further improvements, it would soon be ready for practical use. Thinking about the simulated spirit array being used in actual combat. Just the thought made the 4 extremely excited. Lin Moyu was also somewhat shocked at this moment. The array had actually created a god out of thin air. Previously, when he saw the array simulating God King level enemies, he wasn't shocked. Even if the array could simulate minor gods, he wouldn't be shocked. Later, he found that the minor god level giant beasts were real. At that time, he instinctively felt that the array's limit was the God King level. But now, his thoughts were completely shattered. Simulating God Kings and simulating gods were completely different concepts. The creatures simulated by the array, except for lacking a soul, were no different from ordinary creatures. Their combat power was almost the same. If they could mass-produce gods, once the array was used in actual combat, it would be terrifying. The combat power of the human race would increase exponentially. There was no doubt about the human race's ability to create arrays. Creating an array that covered a star system was not difficult. Imagine, in a battle between 2 armies, the human race suddenly throws out an array. The enemy's opponents would directly become simulated creatures of the array, fearless of death and injury, endless in number. How could they fight? They might as well commit suicide. However, Lin Moyu also noticed that the human race probably didn't yet have the ability to simulate god-level creatures at will. Otherwise, there wouldn't be such secrecy. Lin Moyu thought a lot in that moment and finally said softly, "Let me test how strong you, a god, are." He quickly headed towards the center of the second layer, no longer caring about the fortresses and cities. At this moment, the abyssal dragon demon in the central city slowly awakened, letting out an earth-shattering roar. Guiding markers appeared in the sky, and the Human Emperor Network's reminder sounded.